Welcome to our Moody's Draft Preview, a look at round number 2 in the 2024 NFL Draft. We're going to take a look at certain players that various analysts and mock drafts have connected to the Giants in round number 2. Go check out round 1 and round 3 as well when those are posted. All right, let's start the safety position, Paul. That is a need for the Giants here with the exit of Xavier McKinney. They've added Jalen Mills in the offseason, but you have Shane Belton in-house, but not a ton else there in terms of the depth chart. So Jaden Hicks and Javon Bullard are two safeties that I've highlighted here as round 2 potential prospects. I think there are others as well, but these guys are a little bit different. Bullard's more of the corner body type. Hicks is the much bigger bodied guy.
Yeah, they're both really good with their reads. I like their football acumen and their instinctiveness. The one thing that they have in common on the negative side, though, is inconsistencies. Both guys don't make all the plays that they should. They will sometimes get a little sloppy and a little rough around the edges. Bullard specifically in terms of wrapping up and tackling. So, you're going to have to try to sort through that a bit. That's why we've said all along since the Combine, there are no safeties in the first round.
Yeah, Bullard, I think, does, for a guy his size, he's only 5'11", 200 pounds. He wants to tackle.
He hits.
And you like that as a guy that can play in the slot.
He does hit.
In that star position. All right, let's move over, Paul. Round number 2 to the cornerback position here. I'll throw a few names out there that have been connected to the Giants. Enish Rakestraw out of Missouri, Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia, and then T.J. Tampa, who's really that bigger outside corner, while the other two guys can spend some time in the slot if you want them to.
Yeah, the one thing that I noted, I kind of think that as I look at it, Lassiter's got the ability to play inside and out. I don't know if the other two will.
And Lassiter's time speed at his pro day, a lot of people had it in the 4.6s, which is a big red flag.
That was disappointing. Also, a little bit of a gambler, and I wrote down that he's kind of grabby. Now, we've seen that with Tate Banks here, too.
He can be grabby. You're right about that.
Which is something you have to work out of as you make it to the NFL level. Rakestraw, also, I wrote down as grabby. And Tampa, little bit of a problem wrapping up in the tackling category. So, again, these guys are not necessarily first-rounders. That's why they come down a round. But all of them have really good skill sets.
Yeah, Rakestraw, 5'11", just 185, but that guy is a physical player. Like, you want a guy that's going to play like a football player, that's the guy you're looking for. Paul, let's go to the running back position. Two players that have been mocked to the Giants at different opportunities are Blake Corum out of Michigan and Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. Brooks coming off that ACL. Blake Corum, obviously the national champion, and a lot of tread off the tire, being a highly used running back in Jim Harbaugh's offense.
Yeah, I wrote down for Corum vision and quickness. Questions about his pass pro because they run the ball so much. You don't get a chance to do much pass pro as a running back with the Wolverines. Also, I wrote down balance a little bit. Sometimes he gets a little bit knocked to the ground too easily. Brooks, you mentioned the ACL. I'd like to see him add a little more power, but is it going to come at the expense of his speed and his second gear? You kind of want to be very careful when you do that.
Yeah, very good on outside zone runs, Jonathan Brooks in that year for Texas. All right, then offensive line, Paul. 3 guys that can kind of are tackles, but also can move in and play guard a little bit. We'll talk about the guards more when we talk about the third-round guys. Patrick Paul, Roger Rosengarten, and Jordan Morgan. Morgan's the guy that you think might be able to move in the guard. I know you think Rosengarten might be able to as well. Patrick Paul, he's a giant. He needs a lot of work. He's a little raw, but he's 6'8". He's got 36-inch arms. He's a monster. But those are 3 offensive linemen that have been kind of linked to the Giants in various mock drafts.
Paul plays a little high, but is that to be surprised with his 6'7+ foot frame? And also, he's got to be better on the strike. But I wrote down really good length and feet. Rosengarten and Morgan, both of those guys have one very good thing in common. They're really good off the snap. They get off quickly.
Both are good athletes.
No question. And that's going to help them. Both guys, though, however, I also wrote down they could do a little bit better job of sustaining their blocks through the end of the play.
And Morgan has shorter arms. That might be one of the reasons he has trouble sustaining those blocks. Finally, Paul, quarterback, Michael Penix and Bo Nix, the 2 guys that maybe could be available in the second round, but you might have to trade up for these 2 guys, too.
Terrific arm, throws a terrific deep ball.
Penix you're talking about. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I mentioned Nix and Penix. I want to make sure the fans knew you were talking about
I wanted to start with Penix, but everything's a fastball. It's all just pure heat. The other thing is he gets a little bit rattled under pressure, which you didn't find at Washington because their offensive line was so great. Nick's command, escapability, 2 really good traits for him. Negative side, people will say he's a system quarterback, and they don't necessarily like his footwork, although he is very mobile.
And again, 2 guys that have been in college for 5 years, 2 different programs.
A lot of experience.
So
Nick's the most ever at the NCAA level.
Guys. That's our look at the second round, brought to you by Moody's on our Moody's Draft Preview. We'll see you next time, everybody.